Startups. Startups are like relationships. Every 18-year-old these days is desperate to start one, for it comes with the beautiful illusion of getting you laid every night. And if you have been in a relationship, you know that it's not true. You don't get laid every night. You simply don't. It's a lie. Mrs. is just not in the mood every night, okay? Startups and relationships both are stressful, require heavy investment of time and money, and they both, if not always, mostly end in a disaster. 9 out of 10 startups, believe it or not, are failures. The only other thing that comes to mind with such a high percentage of failure is quitting to smoke. This will be my last secret today. Tomorrow is a new day and I'll open a new pack. It seems like every night the sun goes down, and by the time it comes back up, there's a new billionaire on the horizon. And another startup has just secured another round of multi-million-dollar investment.
This is our quest to find the next unicorn, the next company that's valued at $1 billion.
The world of startups is a fascinating place. It's a world made up of billion-dollar funding making headlines and 16-year-old school dropouts disrupting businesses that have been around for 50 years.
All this media jingoism has given this startup phenomena an almost hip and a cult status. The media is so busy glorifying the next Zuckerberg, there is not really any press on startups that fail. Thought we should help. So while doing our research, we dug out a lot of material, articles and data on startups that fail. Because honestly, the losers also should get their share of media attention so that people start being a bit more cautious. I can't read out everything that is here, but we made an account with the data company CB Insights. And here's the username and password for our account. Go and do your research and see for yourself how many of these companies are actually billion-dollar companies, or if they're just making numbers up. And if you're watching this online, we know you're lazy, so we have made it easier for you by posting the link to the website in the description section. Stay in your pajamas and click on it. Go for it. We as a generation, apart from being zombie lovers, also have a tendency to judge everything by numbers. We tend to take things on form rather than substance. News is produced in tweets of 140 words, movies are reviewed by number of stars, and popularity depends on the number of likes, followers and subscribers you generate. Speaking of which, on a side note, have you liked the Facebook page and subscribed to a channel on YouTube? Please do that, okay? In the startup world, that magical number is the $1 billion mark. Once a company gets the valuation of $1 billion, they are known by a buzzword, unicorn, based on a creature that doesn't exist. There are currently 144 unicorn companies with a total cumulative valuation of, hold your breath, $525 billion. You know something? Sometimes you come across things that are too good to be true. Like that Nigerian guy who sent you that email informing you about the $1 billion he has inherited from some widow, and out of all the people wants to share it with you. You know those emails are fake. The thing with these valuations is the same. It's too good to be true, or bluntly fake. Now, valuation is never the true value of the company. The numbers are sort of made up, like this graphic. This is made up. There's nothing here, okay? There's nothing. These valuations are based on vague factors. Those can include industry trends, growth projections, founder's ego, and how many hookers investors can handle. According to Bloomberg Business, in backroom agreements, investors often agree to grant higher valuations in exchange for guarantees that they will get their money back first if the company goes public or sells. By the time a company does go public, the valuation it got from VCs may never ever align with its balance sheet. These valuation companies basically play the role of push-up bras. Everything from the outside looks big, but inside there's nothing. Really, nothing. You might be disappointed when you see the real thing or the real value once the charade drops. But the most vulnerable or hit are the employees of these unicorn or billion-dollar startups. What happens often is, when these startups hire, they offer stocks of the companies to the employees. In turn, the employees often settle for a smaller salary. Let's look at the example of good technology. A mobile security provider, which was valued at $1.1 billion, but was acquired by BlackBerry for just $425 million. What it meant for the staff of Good Tech was that overnight, the worth of the stocks they had in the company became worthless. According to New York Times, after BlackBerry acquired Good Tech's, employees discovered their good stock was now valued at just 44 cents a share, down from $4.32 a year earlier. In contrast, stocks owned by Good's venture capitalists was almost worth 7 times as much, more than $3 a share. This is because investors and executives generally get protections in a startup in the form of preferred stock, a class of shares that can come with a guaranteed payout, while the rest of the employees have common stock, whose payout comes only after those who hold preferred shares get the money. Now remember, Good Tech was a unicorn. That is a private company with a valuation of more than $1 billion. The high valuation increased the paper value of employee shares, and thus many employees had to pay income tax on their stock when they received the stocks or when they bought and sold shares. To pay those taxes, some employees emptied savings accounts and borrowed money. Some paid taxes in 6 figures. Another company called Zirtual dissolved overnight and laid off its 400 employees with no warning. According to Business Insider, 13 hours before it shut down, it was still signing up new customers. At 1:30 in the night, they sent out emails to all of its employees saying it has ceased operations effective immediately and deleted all its social media profiles and disappeared. They shut down Monday, and Kate Donovan, the company's CEO and co-founder, gave this interview the Friday before.
I mean, we started the company as personal virtual concierge, $99 a month, unlimited tasks, like completely unsustainable business model.
Right.
And we grew out of that very fast. But we still have some legacy plans that are sticking around for stuff that we grandfathered a crap ton of stuff. And now it's like, it's sometimes, figuring out, do you just make a clean cut and say, hey, this is the future, we're not really servicing this anymore?
Right.
Or do you say, well, we owe loyalty?
We're
a weirdly loyal company.
Yes, you are a weirdly loyal scam artist, and as somebody commented on that video, as low as a snake in the grass. With so many unicorn startups out there, I won't be surprised if many more similar stories come out in the future. These companies have raised millions and billions of dollars, and all that sum will have to be repaid to the investors and VCs before anyone makes anything. And frankly, it's very less likely that anyone will. According to a data company, Mattermark, over the last 5 years, at least 22 companies backed by VCs sold for the same amount or less than what they had raised from investors. Ideally was sold to Groupon for $43 million after raising $107 million. Fisco Automotive, the maker of hybrid electric vehicles, sold for $149 million after raising more than $1 billion. And the list just goes on. Listen, they are not as rich as they seem. Okay? Like, you can see me from here to here, right? I look great. Fabulous suit, tie, awesome freaking hair. But what you don't know is that I'm actually broke. I don't even have enough money to buy pants. Yes, under this desk, I'm naked. You don't believe me? Let me get up. But I don't want to. You might have a child in the room, and I don't want to ruin his childhood. I know it's the cool thing these days to join a startup and rave about living it up in San Francisco and announcing to the world how cool it is that you can do coke and drink whiskey on your desk. But bro, if and when you are about to join a startup, please ask yourself this question. Should I get a drink with Bill Cosby? Sure, it will sound cool. And when I share pictures of me having a drink with Cosby, we'll get many likes. But what happens after the drink and the pills will not be so memorable perhaps. And when that nasty executive of yours offers you stocks or points for a lower salary, tell him this: hey, listen, I know you are creating the next Google, but till that happens, give me my full check, my full salary, and shove the stocks up your okay? I want my full check. Hey, you sweaty, nerdy 18-year-old, look at me. Look at me. Remember, you will never get what you deserve. You will only get what you negotiate. Boy, that was deep. Well done, sir. Well done. Another thing about Silicon Valley junkies is that they all have the same tagline. We find a great problem and then move forward to solve it by making apps. Give me a break. A lot of you are not finding and solving problems, but finding trends and making money off it. In fact, around 42% of the companies that fail do fail because there was no market need for their product in the first place. And frankly, apps can't solve everything.
The world has problems that are bigger than can be solved just waiting for your next app. We have problems in transportation, housing, poverty, disease, energy, climate. And so these are huge problems. And if we all sit down and play with our apps, they're not going to get solved. What I mean is, to bask in the pleasures of your next app will hide from you the fact that there are larger problems that need to be solved.
But are you simply saying the next attention on the next app ought to be something that could influence climate change and not something that, could get you a car faster?
Yeah, I don't know how an app can help fix the climate just yet. I mean, if there is one, I want to know about it.
The idea of creating and running a successful company has been so oversimplified. Like there is almost a mathematical formula to achieve ridiculous goals overnight.
As a complexity scientist, I love to study markets, whether they're natural ecosystems or business ecosystems. And today we're going to talk about something really fun. It's one of my favorite topics, which is how to build $1 billion startup almost overnight.
Yes, overnight. Make $1 billion company overnight. It's complete BS, just like everything that comes out of this guy's mouth. But since everyone is starting a startup, what are we doing on a show? So let us also start a startup. And of course, it all starts with a great pitch, which often sounds like a story. Here's ours. Bring the camera in, play a happy dramatic music. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, let's go. Since I was a child, I always had this urge of picking up my nose anywhere and everywhere. And my mom would just go, Azhan, that's a bad habit. Don't put your finger in your nose. Don't do it. I always had to curb my endless need of getting that big booger out of my nose. And I was sure there are several people out there like me who want to get that booger out, but have been told it's a bad habit and thus don't do it. It all changed when I met my roommate. Because frankly, every startup starts with a roommate for some reason. It's like an unsaid rule, me and my roommate. Stop laughing, this is a serious pitch, okay? So when I met my roommate, I discussed the idea with him. And he was like, dude, it's such a serious problem. And so we came up with Booger Pickers. And if you are an investor willing to invest in our company, here's a quick verbal PowerPoint presentation for you. The problem, boogers. Vision, to live in a world with no nose with boogers in them. Market opportunity, huge, everyone has a nose. Marketing strategy, hiring Pinocchio as a brand ambassador. Team, me and my roommate. Competition, none. Investment we seek, how many hookers can you handle? Thank you very much, stick around, we'll be right back.